Hello and welcome everybody. This is the unofficial Avengers Infinity War Spoilercast by Geeks Between Worlds podcast. As always, I am Oscar Lucio. This is Steven Scott Horn. Steven, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. We did it.
We did it.
After 10 years.
We finally
did it.
Went and seen the culmination of every Avengers Marvel movie to date that comes into this nice little hot pocket of Marvel.
Yep.
You take a bite of.
You do take a bite.
And it's good.
You take a bite out of half of it.
Yeah, half of it. I like that. This is a spoiler cast, people. GTFO if you haven't seen the movie. I'm telling you right now. Unless if you like spoilers, then stay here. You know, I'm chill with that too. You could live your own life. That's fine.
That's on the edge, though.
Yeah, that is on the edge.
I met a guy who did that.
One time, I was into this thing to where I just wanted to look up ends of movies. I was really young.
Yeah, someone else
I was really young, but yeah, it's a fad. It's a fad.
Why?
Nevertheless, Steven, let's start this off.
Cool.
What was your favorite part of the movie?
Oh, man.
Right now, boom. I'll tell you mine.
Let's hear yours. Let's hear yours.
Spider-Man dying.
I was going to say the same
Fantastic.
thing.
Let's get to it, people. Spider-Man dead as a doornail, and guess what? He died in his father's arms, and it was sad, and he was sorry. He was sorry to Tony that he died because he always wants to make Tony proud. And it was this holding each other, I don't want to die moment, and it was fantastic. My God.
Hands down the best probably acting in the entire movie.
Oh my God, it was so sad.
At the time, I didn't feel a lot of emotion. You know, all these people are going away, but I'm like, obviously they're coming back.
Yeah.
Like, that's the number one thing I can say about this movie is that part didn't really get me.
Yeah.
But everyone else was just kind of like, oh, I'm fading.
Yeah.
No, not him. Just Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
Yeah.
And just he's acting exactly how a 16-year-old would in that situation. And then it dawned on me that we just watched a 16-year-old die on TV.
Yeah. It was
and not fade into another realm, die.
Yeah, and everybody was so sad. You could hear sulking in the theater. Just audible sulking for this kid. Little Peter. Yep. Little Peter. Soon after, or before, one of them, the other Peter dies too, which is sad.
It's true.
Double Peter on Peter deaths, people. Get with it. Steven, what is it?
My favorite part would have to be just any of the scenes with the Guardians of the Galaxy, like when they were all together, probably picking up Thor and everything. Like, they were hilarious. As soon as they come on, it's just space. That's what it says whenever they're on a specific planet or something. Yeah. And then you hear the music and you know it's them. And I honestly think that they stole the show for that movie. Like, for the most part. Guardians of the Galaxy did fantastic. They made you laugh. They were able to like split up and still be good without being all together. Gamora had the biggest part of the movie.
Gamora had a great part in the movie, and it was definitely just like, oh wow, man, made this character so important. I really enjoyed that. That was awesome for sure. Nope. Second favorite part probably for me, just seeing Red Skull. Yeah. Holy shit, man, that was just
completely
so awesome.
Unexpected.
And to everybody that I've talked to these past couple of years, and I'm just like, you just wait. You're going to see Red Skull again, and you're like, oh no, he went the Tesseract, and he went into space. How could he live in space, Oscar? Fuck you. I was right. There's people out in the world. We had this discussion. You told me I was wrong. You were wrong. Yeah, I was been waiting to do that. Damn. Makes me feel really good about it.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
This whole video changed.
Yeah, exactly. So now I want to talk about, like, really the main character of the movie, I guess, Thanos. Yep. Okay, what did you think of this character? I want to say that in the Marvel universe, some of my favorite bad guys, Winter Soldier. I love in Winter Soldier, he is just an unstoppable machine, you know. And then also, I want to say Loki. He's not always a bad guy. His dynamic is always changing, which is what makes me like him so much. Yeah. You know, so now having Thanos, this really big philosophical character, this legend come in. Did you feel his intimidation like you did? Maybe, I don't know. Did you ever feel intimidation with Winter Soldier? I felt like he
not as
was.
much. Like with this one, it's what we've been building up for years.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think they did a good job with him fighting Hulk right at the beginning.
Yes,
it's like he's powerful even without a single stone.
Yeah, he punched Hulk in the collarbone, and Hulk went like this. Oh, he was like, oh, it's like, oh no, he didn't even know what to do.
Then he's like, I'm not coming back for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Hulk was scared. How cool was that, right?
That was so good. But I mean, another thing I loved about Thanos is like they somehow made me care for him, like a character that I haven't seen much screen time at all, villain, and then he's here to kill half of the universe, but still with him loving Gamora and everything, I think that really humanized him in a way at the end scene when the child Gamora, he specifically says, what do you have to lose? Everything. And he's just talking about Gamora. And I actually somehow, there's a reason why they said Thanos will return on the ending.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Was great.
That was my favorite part. I'm so glad that they did not say Avengers will return.
Yeah,
it was your boy Thanos, and I was like, fuck yeah, I was kind of so hyped.
I was hoping they were going to give the Avengers 4 title at the end.
Yeah, I know. That's what we were predicting in our show. It didn't happen. That was sad. We did get a lot of stuff right, though.
Yeah.
The separate attacks. There were separate attacks.
That was happening.
We did say that it was going to be a Thanos-led attack. I guess that we were kind of insinuated. It wasn't. It was kind of like his minions. And like we were saying, the dude that was constantly praying, the sorcerer type dude. I can't remember his name. I do not remember the henchmen's names. Okay, and I'm not gonna try.
I think it speaks to them because it speaks about them because honestly, they weren't that big.
It speaks about Marvel and just kind of what they do. Really, though, is I liked him most, because he kind of was able to go toe-to-toe with Doctor Strange. He was kind of in that realm of that type of superhero, They did the aliens reference to kill him, which was perfect.
It was quick. It was a little anticlimactic, but it was also just hilarious that it worked. And it was totally Peter's idea. Hey.
And then also, I'm a huge Aliens fan, so it clicked right away. As soon as that happened, I was like, that's exactly what they do. So that was cool.
Who do you think your favorite group was? See, for me, I really loved Iron Man and Doctor Strange because they were both just at each other's neck. They met exactly how you'd think they met. They're both cocky. They're both kind of you could just tell. And then them going back and forth, and then of course having Spider-Man there, I thought that was definitely my favorite group.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when we were doing our audio-only podcast, we were talking about Doctor Strange and just how it really felt like he was the new Tony Stark.
Exactly.
Really wealthy guy, super confident, and then he kind of gets humbled, he becomes a superhero, and he has his origin story. What was cool really about this movie for me is that, obviously Iron Man has changed throughout all these movies. I feel like he still hasn't evolved as much as I thought he would because of his interactions with Doctor Strange. There was times to where obviously I wouldn't say Doctor Strange took the high road, but nevertheless, he was more like, I'm just trying to cut to the chase all the time. And Tony Stark did. He let his ego get in the way of a lot of things, and maybe that's why he did have to have that scene with Peter finally. Maybe it is that final humble nail in your coffin, Stark, you know what I mean? I thought that whole dynamic was the best. As for favorite group, I'm probably not going to say favorite group. For me, I'd probably have to say that is Vision and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. I loved how important they were. I loved their dynamic already. So just the fact that Vision was such a key part, and which led to Scarlet Witch having such a key part. I thought it was awesome. The scene where she lifts all those big attack will ships in the air, and Michonne from The Walking Dead, I can't remember her name, but she's just why is she up there?
Why has she been up there this whole time?
Yeah, exactly. And it's so true because that's exactly what I was thinking. It's just Scarlet Witch is so powerful. And I still have...
Considering the fact that she can destroy one of the stones, and she did, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, she's super powerful.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they finally showcased that. I hope they do that more so. I hope that there is a longer life for Vision and Scarlet Witch. You would hope so, because it kind of seems like they're ushering out the original Avengers, which, let's fucking be honest, Don Cheadle, Robert Downey Jr., and Mark Ruffalo look old. I'm sorry.
Just Don Cheadle especially.
Don Cheadle, it's I don't want to say it's hard to watch by any means, but you're guys, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm glad that you
can't kick that much
and you do feel confident in their ability because they've done it for so long, but you're this has to be it. You know what I mean? So I'm glad they did what they did by the end of him snapping his fingers, started killing everybody. And I gotta give it to Steven. Let's give it to Steven, everybody. Your sidekick theory. Fucking so accurate, right? I mean, every fucking sidekick pretty much bit the dust.
Exactly. And I had a feeling something like that was going to happen, and it definitely did. Let's talk about that ending. It's so... I don't know exactly how I feel about it, because it kind of feels like the safest thing they could have done. The first couple of deaths, were good. They were real deaths, and I was we're not seeing these guys again. And now with half of the universe disappearing, I'm just how it almost feels like there's not too much consequence, because obviously they're coming back. So that's the only gripe I kind of have about the movie. But at the same time, it was perfectly perfected. They totally threw a Game of Thrones fucking, you're waiting a whole fucking year to find out any more.
Yeah, and what was really cool too is that it started off, right, Bucky. Bucky was the first person that died, and then that's when I was like, oh my god, it was like, oh wow, it happened. He falls in, he just turns to ash, and then it goes like War Machine, and then Falcon, and then it shows Black Panther go to help her up, and then he fades, and then that's when you as a viewer are like, oh my god, Black Panther. And then that's when the dominoes really started happening, you know, because at first I saw the sidekicks and I was like, okay, we'll see how far they go.
Yeah, exactly, like they could have maybe been permanently, but as soon as you kill Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, for people like us, we know that they're going to have sequels coming up, so it kind of makes it go like, for the average viewer, maybe they think maybe those people are actually dead. But we know that Sony's making, you know, Spider-Man Homecoming 2. So exactly. He's going to come back. So.
And that's the thing, is that you do have a very, I want to say that, you know, with everybody that sees these movies, your fan base is split to where you have half that does know everything, that does look up all the title logos and knows all the movie that's coming out. And then you have half that seen Avengers 1, seen a couple Marvel movies, Avengers 2, a couple Marvel movies, Avengers 3, you know what I mean? And it really does please both people, because I think there was a lot of people that obviously go, well, they have to come back, right? But they don't exactly know that because they read the comic or because they just know. It's like, it's because we assume that, you know, and no matter what, when you kill that many people, you assume that there's going to be something. And then with their demonstration of the time stone stopping actually Wanda from breaking the stone really gives you weight on an idea of how they're going to bring everybody back. You're like, oh man, it's got to be the time stone,
which
right?
is kind of weird.
Who knows?
The fact that, because now, like, it got to the point where I'm expecting the time stone. Like, when she destroyed the stone, I was like, time stone, and it was correct. So if I kind of feel like they need to figure something else out. Because if they just use the time stone again, it's kind of like,
and that's the
how
thing
many times
too.
have you done this now?
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting to see what Captain Marvel brings. I think that's going to bring a lot of small background origins or details that we may have just don't exactly need, but just helps out the storytelling. I really think that there is going to be some sort of connection with Thanos and Captain Marvel in the Captain Marvel movie. Supposedly she's fighting the Skrull army. A lot of that like takes place on the moon and stuff. It's supposedly in the 90s. The after credit scene is Samuel L. Jackson calling for her. It's like a super old pager like looking thing.
Which I gotta say, why are you holding on to this thing for 15 some years?
And I'm wondering if and that's
like why didn't you use it on the New York attack?
Why isn't he with the Avengers fighting Thanos? That's what I don't get. Like, how is S.H.I.E.L.D. not a part of it in any way? Or like, I don't even know if they are S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. I don't know what those two are, but it's Colby and it's Samuel L. Jackson, you know, so
that was cool.
And she dies, you know, which was cool though, which we actually forgot on our prediction too. We forgot a couple people, but there's so many characters though. And dude, what's funny is we were so wrong on some predictions. I edited that video, and in big font, when Cap is holding Thanos' hand, I put, "This mofo will die." I was so wrong, but I think I was so happy he didn't, because now, we can get the Avengers Assemble scene.
We can get the original Avengers together.
And you even have maybe a heavier weight if he dies at the end of the next movie, you know? Which also leads me to telling you earlier, right? I can see Cap picking up that brand new shiny axe that Thor has. Let's talk about that axe. That was a whole freaking story arc in the movie. What did you think of that? I felt like sometimes that part almost slowed down the story.
A little bit.
But it paid off.
It ended up paying off. The weapon was super cool. I think having the Groot and the Thor just relationship was awesome. Like it totally worked. The scene where Rocket's like, "Time to be the captain," and he goes to comfort Thor. So how you doing?
Yeah, exactly. No, like, it was perfect.
It was fantastic. And then the weapon itself was awesome.
Yeah, and Peter Dinklage having a great cameo that I didn't expect. He was big, right, which was cool too. And you got to see Thor like take the power of the sun, which was cool, just because like you're kind of unsure. And then exactly. Then they're waiting. Thor's almost dead. Peter Dinklage, he needs the axe, and you see Groot like looking around, like finally stop playing defenders for a little bit, and he's just like, wait, I could help, and he grabs it and he's like, bam, and you're like, how cool! Like
that is so cool.
I can't say that maybe they take that from the comics any bit. I do not have like knowledge of that. I assume that is some people like you and I sitting in the writers' room and it was like, dude, wouldn't it be cool, right? And then that scene happens from that. Just wouldn't it be cool if Groot like sacrificed his arm for it, you know? And also maybe that's how we get another Groot. Right? Because right now Groot's dead, but Groot is always somewhat so powerful and none of us ever realize it. Groot can do so much and we never realize it until it happens on the screen. You know what I mean? Like, oh, fucking Groot's awesome. He could do all that shit, you know? So who knows? But why do you kill Groot again? You're terrible. Again. You're terrible. You're terrible. You killed him when he's a nice, mature man that saves his team, and you kill him when he's a boy, and now what, we gotta regrow Groot again? I don't know.
I'm down for some more baby Groot.
I mean, not everybody.
I'm down for more baby
maybe
Groot.
That's why they do it. They're just like, they saw all the pop sales and toy sales, like, fuck, baby Groot sells.
Yeah, another baby Groot.
We need baby Groot all the time. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. And who would have guessed that all of that story arc with him being the Captain Rocket, you know, who would have guessed that actually led to him being the last Guardian of the Galaxy at the end, you know what I mean? And I thought that was such a necessary arc for that character that was happening right in front of us and we didn't even realize it, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of started feeling it. I was like, okay, they're trying to progress Rocket a bit, but it's because he's the only one left, you know?
It's going to lead to some great character arc with him in the next one. I already know
and
it.
Nebula, you know?
He's going to feel like, oh man, like I messed up, like I missed my friends, and he's going to bring him back, and he's going to be so grateful, hopefully.
Yes, absolutely. What's also awesome is just like, if you were to take Guardians of the Galaxy as a whole and you took the original team and you're like, who's the outcast? It's Rocket.
Yeah.
If you take the full Guardians of the Galaxy of what it is now, you're like, who's the most outcast? It's Nebula. So you have two outcasts now that are going to be working together, you know, and that's so cool. Also, let's talk about that scene with Nebula and she was all separated. Wasn't that just fucking cool? It just like kind of made you understand what Nebula was a bit. And I think that movie did that part best, is they looked at it and they said, hey, you know what? We don't have a lot of time to tell a story, so let's fit in a bunch of visual details, you know, to just help your story experience, you know, and that's kind of just like what it did. It was just like there was a lot of stories that it told just by, you know, us seeing things rather than it like trying to explain all this stuff. Could there have been an awesome fucking ending to where they still do incorporate death like from the comics? Wouldn't it have been awesome if we saw Thanos sitting down and it shows him sitting down and then the back angle and then it shows him smile, and then it cuts to the back angle again, and then you just see a black cloak sitting next to him, and then it cuts, and then everybody's like, who's the black cloak, right? Yeah. And then that's how you incorporate death, is like from a character cameo at the end. Still sad that they're not incorporating death, man. Yeah, that is still one of my, like, that's one of the only things I did not like, and which it's not something I didn't like, it's just something that I would prefer.
That they could have still
You know
done.
what I mean?
I mean, they made a movie about a talking raccoon and a tree, so I mean, like, I think that the viewers would have gotten it. But
I think so. I mean, just think of like the super creepy death chick that's like switching between a skeleton and a woman, like being on Thanos, and like maybe like some like light sexuality between the two, but then like also distance, like I don't want to be with you, and then like you see Thanos like kind of do that, you know, and then you know that he's actually connected to a couple people, this Death and then Gamora, you know, and I think that would have also helped humanize him too, because you're like, oh wow, he's also doing it for love too, in a sense, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, maybe they could touch on that in Captain Marvel. Maybe they'll never talk about it again, which is probably what's going to happen, right?
Probably.
They'll never talk about it
if
again.
they're not gonna put cameos. I mean, this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They love little cameos and little, like, I watched Age of Ultron the other day, or yesterday or the other day, and they even talk about Wakanda and they talk about Vibranium, and that was way before the movie was even out. So like, if they were gonna have Death in there, they would have cameoed her one way or another.
Yeah, probably something.
I don't know if they're gonna do that.
Yeah, exactly. Other though, they did some really other great comic comparisons, and it's just like the beginning of the original Infinity Gauntlet is Silver Surfer crashing through the window of, you know, Doctor Strange's little place, and he's on there and he's like, like, Thanos is coming.
Yep.
And instead they do that with the Hulk, which worked out so good.
Yeah,
I was
made
super
sense.
happy with that. Yeah, so that was cool. Also, just like the snapping the fingers part, you know, things like that. They made the Vision pretty important, but other than that, like they had small similarities. Other than that, the first comic at least was vastly different. You know what I mean? But other than that, I did enjoy that they did try to open it up the same. I really appreciated that because, let's face it, comic book movies these days, I don't think we expect the page to screen, you know, comparison all the time anymore. I think we're past that. I think when comic book movies first came out, there was a lot of that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like here's the comic. Look what they did, you know? And then they realized that like some of the best comic book movies comes from taking your own liberties. Just because, you know, sometimes what you put on the page, we have so much technology now, like you could do anything, you know? So it's like they have so many possibilities. What's the best way to translate the story to an audience? And that's how we get great movies like Civil War and Infinity War, which are vastly different, but still great.
Kind of touches upon it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really happy with that. Anything you didn't like about the movie?
That would just definitely be the main thing, was the fact that all of the deaths at the end, it almost just doesn't feel like there's going to be much consequence from it. And then the other villains, they just didn't do anything for me. They were just there. I didn't have to learn about their names. I know they do have names, and we don't know about them, and so it's just kind of like, it just goes to show you. So those are the only things. Other than that, the cast was amazing. They did a good job of introducing all these characters to each other that have never seen each other, and they didn't do it too quick, and they also didn't, like, it made sense. Like, they reacted how you'd think they would react. Like, the Guardians meeting Iron Man was probably one of the best scenes, just because they're fighting it out, and it's like, that they would fight like that, and then until someone's like, we're going to kill Thanos. Love that scene. So, great movie overall. There's a reason why it's not a perfection movie, not like 100%, but who cares? Watch this fucking movie.
And it's the best Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Right? That's I 100% think. I honestly think, so I really like Avengers.
Yeah.
I think for me, since
Avengers
I like
was my favorite.
Yeah. I think for me, I like Captain America so much. I hate Captain America's portrayal in that movie. From his
this one?
No, in the first Avengers. That is my least favorite Captain America portrayal out of every single movie he's in. Number one, the suit is terrible. I mean, he even takes his old suit in the next movie just because we all know that suit is so bad. You know, and then they had a trouble translating how powerful he was, I think, and you know, and I mean, they did a good job. I'm glad that he became the leader in that movie. Nevertheless, did a terrible job translating to you how important he was. You know what I mean? So that's why I didn't like that. In this movie, I think, everything culminates to it. You have so many great groups. There's no way for me that this movie falls behind any other Avengers movie. Marvel movies, though, I mean, it's hard. Black Panther was so good. Yeah, Black Panther was so good.
I think there's a difference between the standalone movies
and the group movies.
The group movies. You know, that's why Black Panther's so great. Is anybody can watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
One, if you haven't seen any Avengers, so much would be going over your head.
I mean, even just like missing some of the standalone movies like Civil War, things like that, you know, like if you didn't watch the Captain America movies, like you just don't get Bucky at all, I assume, you know what I mean? Like that's something really hard for you to grasp, I think. But other than that, I think the middle of the movie, like that's what I was saying, the team, if I think they could have kept a good pace, my favorite group would have been Thor, Groot, you know, those characters. I do think that some of that stuff slowed down the movie just a little bit. I just remember like being in the movie, I was like, it was like action, and then it was like, okay, these people are like grappling from a rope down into this thing to like find this stuff.
Honestly, it was the Peter Dinklage part kind of was like, I don't know. I can maybe kind of do without this. I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like I think they could have just done all of that in a faster, better way than what they did. Because it was like, oh, here's like this dark place. This movie was pretty colorful too. You know what I mean? And then it's like, this dark place, and like we're doing this stuff with the star, and you're like, okay, I don't know about all this. You know? But that was really my only gripe. I also got the main 3 kills spoiled to me, which is a testament to this movie because it was still so good I didn't care. You know what I mean? And someone posted, I posted an ad for our last Avengers video. Some dude was just like, Loki dies, then Gamora, then Vision. And as soon as I saw Loki die, I knew that his prediction was going to be right. But he kind of left out the end. So like I still didn't expect that. So that was really cool, even though I expected it personally. You know, I didn't expect it from this fucking asshole on Facebook spoiling
Don't
it for
spoil
me.
stuff.
Yeah. Anything else you wanna say before
No,
this?
those are watch this movie.
Yeah, watch it. Jesus Christ.
Watch it.
We just hit 50 subs. If you didn't even know, maybe you'll click here. That's our video for our giveaway, Atreus Pop. Figure it out, people. Once we get to 100 subs, we're giving away a $100 Amazon gift card. Jump on this bandwagon, people. Okay? We don't care that you're bandwagon jumpers. That's exactly what we're looking for, okay? GBW out.